Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Most of Week 9 is in the books. The market went hard against me this week, and I was feeling a little nervous about how some of the results were going to break. Ultimately going to be a winning day thanks to the mighty New England Patriots and the amazing Mac Jones.
I think it was like 9-0 on leans that I almost played. My God, like I don't. How long did I talk about the under in the Green Bay game?
That was.
I think we both went back and forth on that.
Shit,
my
man.
God,
Unders
halfway
in
through
general.
that game.
Dude, unders was the name of the day. This was any given unday.
Any given unday. And then yes, this final game, we're not really going to talk Rams Buccaneers because this game is an absolute atrocity upon our eyes.
Yeah,
but the other late game,
Tom Brady should probably hang it up. I think
it's funny that like he just crossed 100,000 yards in this game, which is honestly awe-inspiring amount of yardage, considering he's like 15,000 ahead of Drew Brees. But in the same breath, it's like, man, he's washed, and this team has too many injuries probably to get redemption on this season.
No one's running away from them.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like they could still sneak into a division win because the leader of this division will be 4-5. This game isn't.
If there's a good old quarterback that's washed and his team has no chance, it is Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. It is not Tom Brady. He's washed. There's no doubt about it. Don't make that mistake.
This game is not over yet either.
But yeah, at 3-6, the Bucs are amazingly not out of this.
100,000 in a game. That must be a record. There was an ESPN anchor that used to do that. He'd say that, and that's his 40th home run on the season, not in the game. That would have been a record. Kenny Mayne thing. I could see Dan just doing the Bruce Almighty hammering on the keyboard as soon as I said it. He knew the answer. He always knows the answer to these things.
Is it 100,000 yards of like regular season plus playoffs? Because his regular season total, I'm only seeing 86,787.
I think it counts playoffs, which is
very cool.
Obviously, he has a lot of playoff games under his belt as well. So,
God damn, he has more playoff game passing yards than other long quarterbacks have. Yeah, he's got 13,000 career playoff passing yards and 86,787 career regular season. Holy shit,
that's a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. He probably should have stayed retired. I don't think he wants this to be the end of the legacy there. And I don't know that I don't think there's some bounce back coming from his level of performance, considering the cast of characters he's dealing with either this year or next year when then, Tampa Bay goes to cap jail. Let's talk about some of these games.
Yeah.
You got any a reaction about the mighty Philadelphia Eagles who just continue to truck stick shit teams, not covering, but winning kind of without much of I guess what am I trying to say? They didn't really have to lift a finger.
Yeah, I mean, not a ton to say in that game outside of, they got it done. That's what you do. You take care of business, but they were giving up more running yards than I would have hoped a good team does, because that is something worrisome. If you can't stop the run, if it's late in the game and you're down by a small amount and they have a good enough running game, running back, running scheme, offensive line, and they continue to get first downs and you never get the ball back, that's how seasons end. That's how dream seasons end if it happens to be a playoff game. So something to work on, but I mean, I'm just nitpicking at this point. They're clearly the best team in the NFC, maybe the best team in the league since the Bills decided to kind of stink for 2 weeks in a row now. We'll get to them, but yeah, not a lot to say other than I don't understand what the situation is going to be with the wide receivers down in Houston, but honestly, they should just keep getting more experience for their young running back and losing games. That's perfect.
1-15-1 is a perfectly fine outcome for the Texans.
Yep.
First in the rotation on Sunday, the New England Patriots beat the Indianapolis Colts 26-3 at home. Dominant win by the mighty Pats. The Pats now have flexed on the Jets, beat the shit out of the Colts. They go bye next week, and then they come out of their bye and they get the Jets again. Nice little soft spot in the middle of their schedule to kind of hope, give them some hope at a playoff wild card, I suppose.
Yeah, they're dead last in their division.
They're dead last in their division.
Done. That's wild. It's funny. They are 5-4. And if let's say the Ravens were to lose,
how are the Bucs have another chance at getting a win here? What the fuck happened?
They had 2 timeouts and they got the stop. So yeah, they're right down there again.
Did we throw dirt on Brady prematurely?
Well, I mean, no, because
he's literally going to have 8 chances at the game-winning touchdown and blow all 8 of them.
It'll be funny if he goes 0 for 8. But I mean, we should really mention this is a 3-4 Rams team that traveled to the East Coast and doesn't have much of an offense. If you're only going to put up 13 points, you deserve to have Father Time knocking at your door a second time here. We'll see how this one goes. Not a ton to say on that game. The Bucs Indy, it wasn't a game I got involved with. Did we get a penalty there?
Pass interference.
Live narrating this one, but yeah, Mac Jones did the thing you need from quarterbacks like him. He didn't lose in the game. Ellinger did throw a pick. I didn't watch much of this game at all.
I think the
biggest problem for him was,
in then since I watched.
Well,
I sadly watched way too much of this game.
He got sacked 9 times.
Yes, that was
kind of the story.
That was the story.
Leading receiver had 23 yards. Like if you can't do anything, and you're going to be missing your top running back, you're starting essentially a third string type quarterback, and you're playing in New England, I guess things aren't going to go well. You said this too in the market.
Tom Brady touchdown.
Otten. I mean, and you said this.
Cotton.
The market was going the other way, Drew. And you're like, I don't know who is getting excited to back Sam Ellinger and probably a JT-less offense.
I guess unwashed Tom Brady. Although at the same time, like Rams losing, that helps my everything. So fine.
This is
I have a lot of Bucks, by the way, to win the NFC. That should be dead and buried, but now this is
are they're gonna kick this, right?
They fucking wow.
There's time.
Cares?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a small Bucks -3 second half.
Ooh,
nice. I couldn't even do the math. I'm like, are we up by 3 now? Look,
you are here in the second half.
We're up by 4. Well, there's still time left. We already jinxed one thing in this game. We won't do it again. So yeah, Ellinger getting sacked 9 times and throwing a pick. That's how you keep your offense from reaching the 200-yard mark. Oh my God, dude! They had 121 total yards.
Dude, going into the last, they had one drive at the end of like a 2-minute drive at the end of the first half. Before that drive, the Colts had a total of like 5 yards of offense. Like it was extremely, extremely bad. And honestly, you can't even credit the Patriots defense. I mean, the sacks were there, but it was mostly just the Colts shooting themselves in the dick. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, Ellinger, not a guy that you really want to have on the road making his first start against Bill Belichick. Surprise! Who the fuck was betting the Colts? What was that all about? Seriously, what was that all about? I did not get the best of the number there. I'm still a little raw about that, apparently. But, I mean, Mac Jones was awful today. Colts had no shot at covering that number. None. Yeah, I mean, Patriots had a pick 6. They had a block punt to set them up for a short touchdown.
Yeah,
maybe those things aren't necessarily repeatable, but even you take those 14 points away.
Yeah, I was going to say they still win by like 10 points.
Yeah, so I mean,
all right, Bills Jets.
This is the one result. This was the one result today that was a little bit of a punch in the kidney.
So in the standings too, and everyone wants to talk. Oh, the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants. It's wild how those teams. This entire division is above 500. Like we joked about the Patriots being dead last. It's because the other three teams all have 6 wins. This is turning into something, and it didn't seem like this is the outcome you get more often than not. Even with that kind of performance from Josh Allen, it still feels like this is a game that the Bills still eke out. And
oh yeah,
it just
when the Bills got the ball back, and when the Bills held the Jets to a field goal instead of a touchdown, they got the ball back with 2 minutes left. I mean, you're thinking to yourself, okay, Bills drive and score a touchdown here, and they win. But the Bills' young defenders all stepped up. Everybody played fucking great today. They got a defensive score effectively was it a true pick six? I can't remember. They either got a short field set up by Sauce Gardner or they got a pick six. I can't remember.
It was a short field. They had it down at like the 19.
Okay. Well, either way, Sauce Gardner was great. The offensive line from the Bills was pretty suspect. First time in a while we can say that. I mean, this doesn't change my opinion of the Bills at all. I think this is your Bills lose to the Jags 6-9 last year kind of a game. They lost to the Jets 2017. Like, you're not going to remember this if they're rounding into form in January and Josh Allen is ripping faces off, which is, I think, where we will ultimately get. This does give other teams an opportunity to dream about the 1 seed in the AFC, which is not good. And those other teams are predominantly the Chiefs. If the Chiefs can get the 1 seed, that does substantially flips the AFC title win equity pool, but they need another fuck up from the Bills, and the Chiefs themselves cannot take their foot off the gas in order to make that happen. Tennessee actually may be thinking 1 seed too, although they also lost to the Bills.
Crazy. And they're also a double-digit underdog with a backup quarterback in a game that has yet to happen. The Bengals with Chase back, that's interesting. And the problem with the Chiefs is, and Drew already mentioned this, the Chiefs need the Bills to probably slip up one more time because they do have the head-to-head win in tow, and that makes it tough. Like, there seems to be I looked at the schedules just now. There seems to be an awful lot of scenarios where these teams are within a game of each other or likely tied with the same record at the end of the season. And then that comes into play because that's your non-divisional opponent. Tiebreakers go head to head, so it'll be an interesting race here. But yeah, the Chiefs had to perk up a little. They're live now.
Yeah, the Bills' defense without Micah Hyde and Poyer was pretty uninspiring. I thought they pinned the Jets at the 4. The Jets' final drive, which could have resulted in the game-winning touchdown, but ultimately ended up in the game-winning field goal. I don't know. A fully healthy Bills team's not letting that happen. And I don't know. I mean, maybe Poyer's never healthy all year. Like, that's possible. But that sucked. Jordan Poyer matters a ton. Wade will get healthier. Poyer presumably will get healthier. They were missing a lot of bodies in terms of just, being fully stocked for this game. I think they thought they could go in there with the C effort and get a win, and they went in there with the D effort and lost.
The main concern, people are asking about the MVP race. Yeah, it tightens up between the top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
Hurts had a good game, and let's just assume Mahomes has an above average game against a team he should play well against. And yeah, it does tighten up quite a bit. Allen's hand, the injury, the elbow hand, whatever, that's concerning. If that's going to be a thing going forward, then the Bills might be playing a road game or two once they get to.
I didn't get a sense that was a thing. Did you?
No, I mean, it's concerning, especially at the end there. So it's something to monitor. But truthfully, I mean, the question, can the Bills lose the division? Yes. Like, if Josh Allen picks up a little bit of a hamstring,
have 2 losses both in division.
Yeah, if he misses time and Miami just keeps rolling, or even the Jets just figure something out. Like, football's weird. If this elbow, hand, or whatever is bugging him, they could be a wild card team, which would be crazy. Is where we were looking at this team a couple of weeks ago. Disappointing performance from him. Kudos to the Jets for doing it with a horrible quarterback and without your Breece Hall. They've found a few things though. So
yeah, I mean the Jets were well coached and coordinated, particularly the pass defense, I thought.
Yeah,
but you have a good defensive minded head coach, so you better be. This is the team that still is. They're on the outside of the playoff picture, looking in my opinion.
Let's talk. Yeah, the Jets. It's hard to make a case for them to fight through the crowd. Tua for MVP. It's a tough ask, but if he wins the division and he beats the Bills, like it's not dead. Like he has numbers. He's missed a couple games. So it's when you get to the end of the season, that's the tough part. Is he doesn't have that big gaping, I threw 50 touchdowns, this, that. It's tough. I'd need a pretty big number on that, but we will. That's our next game.
So let me respond to that a little.
Number of times today.
Let me respond to that a little. So the MVP, in my opinion, this is set aside the idea that the Eagles go 17-0. If the Eagles go 17-0, then they're giving it to Jalen Hurts. Cook up whatever probability you think is realistic that the Eagles go 17-0, and that's what Price Hurts ought to be for MVP, because he's not getting it if they're like 15-2 and they lose a couple games in December, most notably Christmas Eve to the Cowboys. If like the Eagles lose that game, like Hurts is not going to have a good enough statistical profile to warrant consideration. So what that means in my mind is Eagles get the 1 seed in the NFC, that cock blocks any other NFC contender. The 1 seed in the AFC equates to MVP. And if the Miami Dolphins get there, then Tua is live. If the Chiefs get there, then Mahomes is live.
Yeah.
If the Bills get there, then it's obviously Josh Allen's. And right now, Bills have the inside track because they have head-to-head over Chiefs and Titans. Titans get the 1 seed, then it becomes a little bit of a maybe we do give it to Hurts kind of a deal, right?
Giving it to Bud Dupree. Yeah, it's odd. We'll maybe dig it once the odds are up. We'll give some reactions Wednesday to how the adjustments are in the market. But Tua, yeah, I mean somebody said this, like Tua's not dead, but he won't win. Randy says that's kind of my take too. Is like it feels like this team he'll be in the discussion at the end of the year. But it's like the guys who, there's always this guy who makes it on stage for the Heisman.
Fourth choice. Like, fourth choice.
Yeah, Perfect. It's like, hey, this guy's going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. He's like, did he get a vote? Like, I guess, he's the fourth or third best.
He may get the fourth choice, and he may scoop Lamar Jackson for that fourth choice. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And he had a 300-yard game with 3 touchdowns. He does that the rest of the year, and they win the division. Fuck yeah, he's fucking.
You know what though? He's not playing the Bears again.
It would be nice if he played the Bears every day. And again, yeah. So, I mean, the Bears recap is the same as it's going to be every week. More. I said they ran Justin Fields some. I said run him more. They did. Look, it worked. He set the all-time record for rushing yards by a quarterback. More. Run him 20 times. Don't live in this norm of this is how everyone does it. Do what you're good at. Like, fucking let him run 20 times. He seems to be well enough. He has the acumen in mind to slide when he needs to, get out of bounds when he needs to. It doesn't take huge hits constantly. I think he's good for 15 plus a game. That worked out good. He threw the ball well enough. They still probably give David Montgomery the ball too much, but just the defense. If the defense is going to play like this, and granted, you played against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, 5 for 85 and a touchdown, and that was clear second fiddle to what Tyreek did on 8 targets, 7 catches, 143 and a touchdown. Obviously, he's a freak, and you put him against a bad defense, it's going to be even more on display. So, this offense is a ton of fun. I'm excited about Miami playing some more bad defenses down the road and getting some rocking chair overs like this. But the biggest story was like, hey, Chicago is moving it. Like they're using Cole Kmet. Claypool had a couple catches. I mean, that's just going to continue to improve. They might not win.
Chicago went score for score with the mighty Dolphins. Like, they don't have the same weapons. No way.
And this is funny. Casey Koenig says it's safer than standing in the pocket because the pocket doesn't exist. The pocket is collapsed the moment it exists.
I mean, Fields was only sacked twice. Amazingly, only lost 7 yards. This was a very even game from a yards and sort of
Bears just kept
drive quality. Yeah, they kept answering. The Bears, God damn it, the Bears rushed for 252 yards in this game. Now, is that a lot of that is because of Fields, obviously, but like, that's awesome.
No, imagine if they'd have given those Montgomery carries to Herbert.
Oh, I know. I don't know why they're not. So we got a Tony Pollard situation in our hands up in Chicago. The funny thing is, like, you bet some overs and you need a couple of things to bounce your way sometimes. If the number turns out the number is kind of right, this was not one of those. The number was definitely wrong. This was an easy one to be on the over. But even all that, we did still get the ball bouncing our way a bunch of times. There was a defensive special teams touchdown. Shout out Mr. Andrew Van Ginkel. We got an Andrew Van Ginkel sighting. Not a lot of penalties here. The penalties that we did see were over penalties, not under penalties. Like, if you don't know what I mean, like a 45-yard pass interference is an over penalty. A 10-yard hold is an under penalty.
I think real quick, that's turnovers. Like a misconception that penalties can, like, very much affect a total in a bad way. Man, sometimes you have a game where it's like there's 13 penalties between the two teams, and they're like, 6 of them are defensive holding, one's an encroachment. You end up with a couple penalties that didn't actually happen because it was, Mahomes had a free play, so that penalty didn't even count. He ended up throwing into triple coverage, and it worked.
And there some penalties are worth like literally 4 points, like a 3rd and goal, and you get a DPI in the end zone, like that, instead of now a field goal. That is, you're on the goal line and you get a touchdown, right? Like, there's some huge swings with some penalties that take you over.
Yeah.
Am I dropping F-bombs? I don't think I'm that profane. The general feel though is the red zone, very, very, very high conversion rate. 4 for 6 for the Dolphins, 3 or 4 for the Bears. Both teams are good red zone teams, though. Both teams have good offensive scheme and good offensive coaching. I like what I'm seeing from the Bears' offensive mind hive there. It's fun.
I'm a Getsy believer.
Yeah.
Even if they lose some games, this could be a team where, man, put some pieces around this dynamic young man, and this could be a fun team next year. All of a sudden, it's the Packers are an afterthought in this division as the Lions rebuild continues and the Bears and Vikings offense ascend. And speaking of that 4-point penalty, could have, should have, would have had one if there'd been more time. But the Vikings.
Oh God, we'll get there.
They kicked the field. This is the next one. This Vikings team was unimpressive today, and it was
closing line. Close. Pushed on the close.
Yeah, it closed at 3. There was 3.5, which people took and cash. But yeah, it was an unimpressive effort for the Minnesota Vikings. They just barely got over 300 yards of offense. This is an offense that looked, commanding offense last week. Granted, it was a road game against a team that has some semblance of a pass rush, and a lot of it felt like self-inflicted stuff, and some of it was just bad play calling at times. But they ended up doing the thing that they've done all year, and they've won 6 one-score games now. This is a middle-of-the-pack team who now has more wins than the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Ravens. I don't know, name some other good teams. Like this team has it's too many wins now to fail, honestly, in the division. If they lose the division, like, we'll be talking about it for 100 years. Like, they have a 4.5 game. Everything else hashed out. The Packers lost, the Bears lost, so they have a 4.5 game lead.
Yeah.
It's crazy to have that big of a lead.
There was an insane. There was
They're the Patriots.
Yes, there was an insane world where the Lions could catch them, but this win today, I think, puts that out of reach.
Yeah,
really.
They have some games they'll lose, and I'd love. Yeah, and as Sam's pointing out, I don't hate him as an underdog next week, but this is and Femi's pointing out San Francisco. He says he will surpass them for the 2 seed. That's very feasible, but as of right now, all they need to do is
San Francisco's too inconsistent.
Minnesota just needs to win the games they're supposed to win. They can lose all the games they're supposed to lose and get the 2 seed. It's wild how the NFC is right now. So, and then Kirk Cousins, the ultimate joke will be, oh man, this Vikings team was fun. We got to put them in primetime for the playoffs. And then the Cowboys come in and just beat the fucking brakes off of them. Otherwise, decent game from Heineke. The turnovers from both quarterbacks were kind of at inopportune times. Justin Jefferson, another big day. At least he had a touchdown. We joked about him and Tyreek not getting in the end zone. They both did today, which will help their overall cases for awards. But this was kind of a boring game, truthfully. There wasn't a ton of good drives from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
They only ended up going 2 for 4 in the red zone. That's problematic after how good they were. I guess a little regression from last week, but I guess if you get to the red zone 4 times on the road, good job by you. Turnovers were 1-1. It was just a ho-hum game, and they got it done at the end.
Yeah, not a lot to take away here. Commanders had a 17-7 lead. They were up by 10, and you're thinking, oh, shit. Like, Vikings are in trouble here. Yeah. Can they answer? They answered. They were fine. Ultimately, the red zone futility hurt anyone that backed the over, me. And I was still like, gosh, man, I have a chance at getting this over. If this goes to overtime 17-17, or if 2020, Vikings kick a field goal here, Commanders answer with a field goal 2020, we go to overtime. We're in business. That was not to be, because the fourth down penalty with under 2 minutes was an absolute backbreaker that literally ended the game. Ended the game. It landed on 3. This was one of 3 pushes today. If you bet 3, Minnesota was a 3-point favorite. They won by 3. Tampa was a 3-point favorite. They won by 3. Chargers were a 3-point favorite. They won by 3. Although I guess Chargers closed 2.5. We'll get to that in a second, because that was bad work by me reading the market.
I didn't expect it to go that way. I thought it'd be 3.5 when we closed.
Well, we'll get. Are we there next? Well, then let me just kind of final thought on Minnesota. Like, this team, they have some games this year where it's like, good God Almighty, they did not deserve to win this one at all. Looking squarely at that Dolphins result, they were better.
I mean,
overall.
That was, you get to play backup quarterbacks. That's what you get.
They were better overall, and ultimately, like, the Commanders had a fluky long touchdown to Curtis Samuel that kind of helped get them into position to be leading in this game. But the end of game state here was pretty freaking fluky.
Oh, this is a nightmare scenario for Minnesota. As Femi's pointing out, Seattle loses the division to San Francisco. It gets the 6, or even, what would it be, 6? Yeah, 6-3, 5-2. My God, yeah, that would be a fun game, though. That would be a really fun game up in Chino indoors.
I love Femi. I don't like this San Francisco's winning the West talk one bit.
I know you don't.
None of this. Not here. Not around here.
Teams that are not winning their division played each other today. Green Bay. And this was, do you remember my quote? This was a good enough quote that Dan decided to clip it and put it on a card. It said, "This is the buy low spot on Green Bay." But I said something along the lines, but they suck ass. They just suck ass so much. Like, I can't. I get that. This is a cheaper number than you should ever be getting on this team. Yeah. I still can't do it. We joked about the under. Said the Lions. It's so inconsistent with how bad their defense is.
Yeah. Maybe
they give up a bunch of points. This under came through pretty easily if anyone backed that. And it was one of those weird results where, before we just completely dog on Green Bay, like, they drove the field a couple times early. Like the first 2 or what was it? The first drive was an 88-yard, 13-play drive that ended with an interception from, the 4, the 5, something like that. That sort of stuff happens. Then the next one, they got the ball with even better field position. Same thing. 4th and goal. They actually had a nice play drawn up. Kudos to Hutchinson. He really read that well. He stopped, backpedaled, went sideways, and grabbed that ball.
About time he made a play. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to get any scores in this by the time we get to halftime. But I joked on Twitter. I said getting a Lions money line first half win is pretty dirty because Green Bay was that. I mean, they were 1st and goal twice, got no points. And the Lions had gone -7 punt, turnover on downs, and then another punt, and then they'd finally got their touchdown drive right at the end of the half, and then they got the 2-pointer, which was fun. But more both teams threw interceptions like right out of the half. It was ugly. This game was ugly, and even the touchdown drives later on in the game, it was more predicated on like these defenses aren't that good.
I don't have a lot of thoughts on this one. I didn't watch a ton of it. In the preview, we gotta go. I gotta go back and listen to our Packers preview from the preseason.
That'd be a fun one.
It will be a fun one. In that preview, I'm sure I pointed this out. The last time that Rodgers cashed in, like he got a check, like he was not invested in the team succeeding that following season. And I feel like some of the kind of lack of development of the young receivers, it's on him. Absolutely. If you double down, you spend time with these guys in July and August, develop them and have them, kind of develop a little bit of chemistry. Like you can absolutely jumpstart your campaign in a way that avoids some of this. Like the felt like most of the problem here was just miscommunication, lack of chemistry. Even if you have a little bit of something going with these guys, then you end up with more than 9 points here. And
really like too that they were so bad luck / bad decision making on those interceptions, but also like they got injured a bunch. Like everybody was in a walking boot at the end of the game. So not very good. Not very good team this year. Such is life. It'll be interesting to see what Rodgers does. Like as far as it might just be a case where like, I think we bet against this team because he just doesn't care. Like this. Well,
that's the thing is, I mean, like he got paid. He is more than willing to point the finger at everyone else for the failures.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good leadership. And that's what if you are November 6th, 2022, realizing that Aaron Rodgers is not a good leader, where have you been? Seriously. Like, why are you surprised by this? Not a shocking result. They got bet hard, by the way. They closed 4. That total at 49.5. The under was the easy pick. That was the low-hanging fruit of the week, and I missed it.
Yeah, the Lions didn't do a lot. We were worried missing Hawk. Swift maybe not quite right, but they got enough, and they had some luck on their side, honestly, too. Like Green Bay winning this game and covering is not some outlier result considering the stats at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. 2 red zone interceptions. I mean, even if you only got 10 points out of that, they win by 4. So it was a weird game. Honestly, I'm not sure Green Bay deserved to lose it. I'm not sure anyone deserved to win, though. It was an ugly one. Speaking of ugly ones,
the Lions were due.
Yeah, the Lions were due. Chargers, Falcons. Falcons get out to a 10-0 lead. Do not lead at half after a couple of scores by the Chargers.
Really,
not as much scoring in the second half in
quarters.
This one. It felt like everyone took turns with the quarters. Mariota, you got about what you're going to get out of him. They targeted Pitts a couple times, which felt nice. Targeted London a few times, which felt nice, but really it came down to like Cordarrelle's back. They ran him. They had more than, honestly, I thought. He had the most carries. He had more than Algier. It wasn't always pretty, but he scored a couple times. Drake London had 7 targets, only 3 catches. Wow. They ran the ball really well to start. It felt like there was some adjusting to that, and they just tried to make Mariota throw. It worked a little. Neither of these teams looked very good. The Chargers just looked a little better at the end of the day, and we got themselves a small win. If you had the late number, the 2.5, congrats. I don't know what to make of what happened to Atlanta after the first quarter. I mean, maybe just you see this with a lot of teams.
I watched almost every minute of this game. I got a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, the fumble too. That was something. That's the sort of stuff that happens to
the singular. That's right. That is both fumbles.
Yeah,
the fumble of at the goal line of London was that win equity. That swung big time on that play. Khalil Mack made just an absolute man's man. He was grown-ass man play there, ripping the ball away from London. Take it, and you can only take it half the field. Chargers summarily, I think, threw a pick a couple of plays later, gave it right back. But the Chargers played one good quarter of football, and it was the second quarter. Everything else was really suspect from them. I got to push on 3 because I didn't get the best of the number. I don't think I deserved to push on 3. At the end of the game, they were driving. They had no urgency. They were trying to be cute and kill all the clock and kick the field goal.
You're describing Minnesota?
I'm describing
it's the same
both.
thing.
Yeah, same thing. If they were a little more aggressive, they score a touchdown there if they want to, and everything. We all go home happy, I think. But the running attack for the Falcons. Anyone who bet the Falcons because of the Chargers' run defense and the Falcons' rushing attack, you were correct. You were correct. That was like mismatch among all of the mismatches in any of these games today. I guess passing attack for the Miami Dolphins against the Bears, pass defense was probably number 1. Yeah. Number 2 was rushing attack of the Falcons against that sorry ass run defense for the Chargers. They had one stretch where they were trying to kind of put away the game, I thought, and they gave it to Algier and Huntley like 8 times in a row, and it was just no problem moving the chains. It was unbelievable. But yeah, the fumbling was fluky. It was coin flippy.
This was the word.
There was no right side on this one, I don't think.
Brian J here points out unprovoked fumbling.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to describe it. Yeah. I watched a decent amount of this game, and every time I did, I regretted watching. The first quarter was fun. It's like, man, the Falcons are just hammering them. And then when the Chargers started to come back, that was fun. But the second half was kind of not fun whatsoever. And we're moving on to 463.
No, I gotta comment a little bit about piggyback on Ben Verone here. R.I.P. Staley, we fully off him now. I think so. I mean,
nobody's talking about it. Like, as far as it's happening in real life.
Here's the problem, right? Like, they have obvious deficiencies, and they have kind of made we made our bed. We've tripled down on the pass defense, and we don't. Our vision of football is that running doesn't matter. So we're just going to completely give up on that in scheme and in personnel. And that was stupid. Like they need to meet some minimum line, and they're not doing it. And on top of that, you come into a game like this, you have an offensive system that, like, you had a lot of advantages against the pass defense that stinks out loud. And yes, your wide receiver 1 and 2 are hurt and not available for this game. But the conceptual nature of your offense is atrocious. It's embarrassing. The short dump off, check down stuff, like that is plan A on way too many downs.
Yeah, that's not like the third read where you see like the corners all over him. We have double coverage on our wide guy on right, and we check down.
Right, Lombardi.
It's like the first move.
Lombardi is a miserable offensive coordinator, and you know what? You know when people knew this? This time last year, it was clear as day. And here we are a year later, and you got all this data, and you're a big analytical thinker, and you're cutting edge of football. And no, like if you're letting that happen in your own house, you're not. You're fake sharp. And I think realistically, if you were being honest and truly kind of embracing the cutting edge of football, how invaluable running back targets are. Like that really is a freaking last resort. And if you're going to sit there and say, well, it's because of our offensive line, it's because of our wide receiver health condition. Okay, maybe. But there's just been way too much signal now that no, that is who you think you want to be. And in that case, you really don't have an edge like we thought you may have.
And I think a lot of the blame, and he's going to get away with it because the blame is going to go to, we have 2 really good wide receivers, but they're always hurt. How are we supposed to get this offense to work? Whereas like, no, a good enough offense coordinator could make Palmer work.
Dude,
like your quarterback is good enough.
Construct some intermediate stuff. Anything. Like they're like literally sit down and watch 3 tapes of what Mike McDaniel is doing with the Dolphins. You don't have those athletes. I get it. But like just the same concepts. Just
use
give it
the
a
concepts.
Try. Yeah, give it a try. And it will work.
I think you'll have, it's like, but they have Tyreek. Yeah, you might not get a 60-yarder to the house, but if you try some of those concepts, you'll have a successful play. A 6 yards on first down. Hey, it's better than what we're getting with these dump outs to the side. It looks like the old stuff they did the other year with Zeke Elliott on the Cowboys, where it's like every time you saw that swing pass to Zeke, you knew it was like best case we're getting 1 yard here. Worst case, this is 3 yards. All right, this
is like the Bucs problem.
Yeah,
good.
We've been dragging ass today.
We're making some solid
clock. We have like 5 games left. Panthers, Bengals.
Here's a game I don't have anything to say about.
I bet the Panthers plus 7.5. They did not even cover that against Joe Mixon. He had 30. He had 30 points. What 5 to?
Yeah, if you play Joe Mixon today, fans.
And here's PJ. PJ got benched. That's how you know a game is not going your way when they bring in Baker Mayfield for mop-up time.
Look, PJ, spend less time in the YouTube chat and more time preparing for a defense that didn't have any quarterbacks. What? And in fact, we'll get to this, but like, Cincinnati's a bet against this week. I don't.
And maybe, I guess I never would have seen Cincinnati. Obviously, I bet against them putting up 42. But if this offense is going to remain good, and we're going to have all these cornerback injuries against teams that have actual, professional quarterbacks that they're going to play, maybe the Bengals are an over team because that secondary is beat the bleep up. So that is wild that they had that result. Not a lot to say other than, I guess I'm sorry I lost money on that.
Is Cincinnati on bye? I really hope not.
I think they are.
Fart. Are they?
Raiders, Jags.
Damn. That's a shame.
So we didn't mention this when we talked about the Colts, but I really think maybe Reich just needs a change of scenery. Like if it's clear that the management's kind of lost faith in him, like they should just move on from each other. And that brings me to the Raiders, where I think maybe they've made a horrible mistake, but I don't fully understand contract stuff. Are they still paying Gruden? Because you got to fire him for cause. Like, do they have to pay out his contract, or how does that work? Because I know
Gruden resigned, Andy.
Yeah,
Gruden famously resigned.
Like, so he doesn't. They don't have to pay him anything.
If you resign, that's not. Yeah, you're leaving your money on the table. Eddie, you don't remember that Gruden resigned?
Yeah, no, I do remember that now with the Urban thing, but I'm not wild about McDaniels as a head coach.
Not wild about McDaniels.
He's had like 3 score leads a couple times. He's coughed them up, and this is a team that we've seen for about a month now, and we believe to be kind of a bad team with a bit of a lost cause at quarterback. If he isn't developing the way we're seeing other young quarterbacks develop, he's not on that curve. It's like, when your kid's, the kid, you got to put him on Pedialyte because he's not gaining weight or whatever. And sure, he's falling below that curve. You got to get him up there, and he's falling behind where he needs to be if you want to be getting your 5th-year option picked up. So it's bad to lose like that with a big lead multiple times in a year. And that's the thing that I figured, if you show me this box score, Drew, and you say, hey, Andy, I know, like, I harp on every team for one thing. I say, run fields more. It's the only thing that's working. Like Atlanta, just, maybe throw the ball a little bit while you're ahead. You don't have to run it on every down. But my main concern with the Raiders is just like, get Devontae Adams involved. He had 10 catches for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. They still lost by 7 to a 2-6 team that was coming in. So I don't know. Maybe there isn't a solution to fix the Raiders right now.
Andy, this game was a tale of two halves. Raiders were amazing in the first half. Where the hell were they in the second half? Carr is fully regressed to a pumpkin. Whatever duress was going on with him and this organization and his embracing of the leadership role in that organization last year has completely evaporated. He is not conducting himself like an NFL worthy quarterback at all right now. And some of that falls on McDaniels, surely, but a lot of people who were like, Carr sucks, I don't believe it, he is who we thought he was, are getting their victory lap.
He was okay today. And a lot of that was just, if you split it out and look at his second half stats, he wasn't okay, but they were good in the first half. They made it look okay.
Yeah,
in the long run, they were 3 for 12 on third down.
If the Raiders played,
that's on the quarterback and the coaching staff. You can't go 3 for 12 on third down and blame play calling completely. You can blame it, but you can't blame it completely. You still have to execute. 3 for 12, 1 for 3 on fourth down.
I got to tell you what else, man. The Jaguars defense did not come to play in this game. Like, you could have put them away a lot earlier, and you let them hang around, and they came back on you. Trevor Lawrence, I still don't really know how to evaluate this kid. Overall, 400 yards of offense for the Jaguars is solid. The defense was as mentioned, horrible at times. One fumble for each team, which is fluky. I think as you look at the box score, the right team won, but it certainly didn't feel like this was going to be a Jags win and cover for most of the game. Etienne got his. He's got a little bit of a pop now that they're featuring him.
Yeah, he has to be happy about the Robinson trade.
Bizarre game. I think the Jags dug themselves too much of a hole. I think they're still probably out of it in the AFC South.
Yeah, 6 losses.
This was a throw dirt on the casket for the Raiders, though. You're done now.
They've played 5 road games and they haven't won one yet. So.
You're done.
You're done. ETN comeback player of the year. It's going to take he's going to have like a 300-yard game in there somewhere, I think, to overtake the people who are ahead in that market.
I mean,
it's not dead though.
Geno Smith is going to be tough to beat when he
just keeps winning games like this, has game-winning drives. All right, the afternoon games. Let's talk about that one. That one felt like I was being personally assaulted when it was 14-10. Because
it was not fun. It was not fun.
So anyway, when it was 14-10, the only thing the Cardinals had done at all was one really nice drive, but it was their first drive. It was the scripted plays portion, which truthfully isn't always their forte, but any NFL team should be able to put together a really nice scripted drive to start the game. So they answer the field goal drive from Seattle with a touchdown, 9 plays, 83 yards, pretty efficient. They never had themselves in like a long third down. It was just a really nice drive. I said, all right, if Seattle punts, I'm going to take some Seattle live again on the spread because I only had money line at that point. So I got some Seattle plus 5.5 after they ended up punting, and the Cardinals got the ball for the second time. Cardinals went punt, fumble, punt. And then the touchdown in the fourth quarter kind of came with, they were down by 10 at that point. That was a soft defense they were going up against. I don't want to give them a ton of credit, but when it was 14-10, they had the scripted drive and they had the pick six, and that was it. And I felt victimized at this point because, God damn it, Seahawks, you got to be doing something a little more on offense. The turnover on downs stunk. Obviously the pick six was really rough.
Yeah,
I think the right team won, and Seattle.
The right team won. Yes, yes, absolutely, the right team won. Are we kidding? There was some hilarious weird shit in this game.
Yeah.
I guess step back and away from this game, and you tell me, am I drinking too much lime green Kool-Aid here with the what's the green that the Seahawks wear? The highlighter green. What do they call that? Action green. Am I drinking too much action green Kool-Aid here? Believing that the Seahawks really are like a factor in the NFC. What's your feel after a game like today? Because like they struggled, they stumbled, they're on the road. They could have like mistakes could have compounded.
Yeah.
Like Geno Smith throws a pick six. He could have been like, you know what? I'm gonna check into some handoffs here. Like we've said this. They didn't play that way. They played aggressive.
Said this about the
pass
Eagles.
to Noah Fant to put this game on ice.
Yeah,
that was
so. Yeah, when they got the ball back and they just needed to get a couple first downs, and they come out throwing.
Yes,
fuck
like,
yes,
yeah. That was literally like my team. My team.
No, and
Love
I was
them.
not
Love
excited
them.
about anybody. I did not give a shit who was throwing the ball, if it was Geno Smith or Gino Tortorella, whatever fuck his name was. Remember back in the day, that was a Shane Waldron play right there.
Shane Waldron is feeling it right now.
Like
the NFL sucks,
so many people
Shane
run
Waldron
the ball
is
at
in
that
his
first
bag.
down. That first down is a running play for like 90% of league. So I love that. And yeah, the defense is playing pretty decent. They've got some pieces that are starting to gel a little, I guess. It's a team that can win a playoff game. I'm not saying like this is a team that can make a run, but if you have two good receivers that have a good rapport with a quarterback who doesn't make horrible decisions, you have a good young running back and a defense that's starting to feel themselves a little, that can go on the road and put up 31. Yeah, you can win a playoff game. So this is a scary, like, between the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Like, fuck, the wild card teams aren't going to be any fun to play. And I know you want them to win the division. I think their most likely outcome is
the
still
Niners.
To fall
The
behind.
wild card team will be no fun.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Whichever of those two. If you flip
it, the Niners coming in as a wild card team stinks.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I will stand up and defend the Seahawks defense. I mean, the Cardinals were in comeback mode for a lot of the second half of this game. They ended up with 262 yards of offense. You take the pick six out of the picture here, they freaking smothered these guys. They did. The EPA per play looks amazing for the Seahawks defense. Like, they continue to get better. Young nucleus, healthy. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, people thought this was going to be a joke of a team, and they are absolutely everybody is rowing the boat in the same direction. It is awesome to see. I believe in the Seahawks kind of.
And let's talk this into existence. Woolen had a tackle for loss, and he batted down a pass.
He was awesome.
He had a good game again. He just needs a primetime game where he has like a pick six.
You know what the problem is? They didn't give the Seahawks any primetime games because they thought they were going to suck.
They thought they were going to. You know what? they're gonna get flexed into one, guys. This is how it happens.
They get actually the Seahawks get a very high profile game next week. Standalone game.
A little weird though.
Primetime in parts of the earth.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And now this is your homework, guys. Figure out what Shane Waldron. I'm just assuming like Shane Waldron's running the show now, and what's his face is just chewing gum on the sideline and getting mad at refs. But Shane Waldron, see what he puts together for a travel schedule to Germany.
Shane Waldron is coordinator of the year for me.
And then and we'll close this quick before we get into the lines for next week, but despite there only being 2 games, I watched a bunch of woodworking videos on YouTube instead of having the Rams game on the TV for most of the time. Every time I had this on, I said this about a few games I know, but I did regret this. This was bad. Like, this Rams offense is completely a shell of what we've seen at the height of the last couple of years. And obviously Tampa Bay has just had so many injuries that it's hard to tell, like, hey, this team had a super high ceiling, but that ceiling is very much lowered by the injuries they've had. Now they have them on defense as well. Worried, it's like, is this defense going to be able to stop anyone, even if it is a bad offense? This is the Raiders line. Hey, Cooper Kupp had the Devontae Adams line. Team still lost. Like, yeah, good job. You had 8 catches, 127 and a touchdown. Your team ended up losing in the long run because you couldn't get drives. We talked about this with the Eagles. We said, hey, what do you need to do when you're ahead late? You need to get some first downs, usually running the ball so you can keep the clock moving. They don't really have good running backs. Henderson, okay. He had an okay day. I don't think he's anything special. And if you can't get a couple first downs, you're going to give Tom Brady another 4 shots in the red zone. And one of the last ones ended up biting them. They lost this game. They're very much, we talk about the battle for first place in that NFC West. It was a 3-horse race. If they get this win, they can make them, kind of inject themselves into that conversation at 4-4, but 3-5. That's tough with some head-to-head losses already. So the Rams are happy they didn't make any trades.
Yeah, seriously, you're gonna need those picks in 2024 and 2026 or whatever when you're staring up at the Seahawks who are dominating your division for the next 5 years. Best EPA site. There's a couple. What's this? What I'm trying to
running backs don't matter.
NFLGameData.com /schedule is a sick one. Running backs don't matter. Also, you can kind of flip through the schedule there and look at EPA per play for offenses and defenses.
Especially if you have yourself our studio. No little R. That's helpful to kind of clean some of that data and use it how you want to use it. But
it is. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. The Rams were the second worst offense I saw today. The Colts were the worst. Rams were the second worst. You're up against a Bucks defense that has been just riddled with injuries as well. It didn't matter. You still couldn't get anything done. You got a 7-point lead thanks to, and again, like if the Rams convert either of their goal line opportunities in the second half to touchdowns instead of field goals, then this isn't even a game that's in doubt at the end of the game. But they didn't. They got a field goal and a field goal out of 2, quasi, I guess I'll say, quote unquote, drives. After those after the second field goal drive where they were up 7, 3 plays, punt. 3 plays minus 1 yard, punt. 3 plays minus 7 yards, punt. 3 plays, 6 yard, punt. And that was the killer because back from the dead, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady, they are now live for a playoff spot. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy. We started this podcast that we were burying these guys, and now they are back from the dead. And it's all because the Rams could do utterly nothing on offense with the 7-point lead in this contest. Conceded a field goal and a touchdown as time expired, basically. Even the final play of the game. Everything about the Rams is a disaster right now. They should probably put Cooper Kupp on ice, not risk long-term injury to him.
Aaron Donald, I can get
Matt
with
Stafford,
we need to. This is
give
like
Matt
your
Stafford the
season
elbow
saver.
surgery. Just give him the surgery.
Yeah.
Hope he's ready for September.
I thought about it for a second. I thought I was gonna say like I didn't love Cooper Kupp playing today, but today was like your season saver. Like if you win this game, you can save your season. So I get playing Kupp, but at this point you'd be like, hey, his ankle got worse, and we're gonna set him out for like 2 weeks, let him get healthy. It was a really, really bad offensive performance like we expected. I just didn't know what I'd get out of the Bucs, and honestly surprised they won. I like some things about that. Honestly, I bet the Bucs second half mostly be on the incompetence of the Rams. I thought the Bucs might just sneak out a drive or two if the Rams just aren't ever going to score. So the line did move to 14. on tonight's game that's starting right now. Obviously, we said that's a midpoint number, probably a midpoint number, and it did. Malik Willis is going to start, so we're pushed out to 14. It is a juicy plus 14, though. It's more like a 13.5 at Sharp Books. I have a little bit of 12.5. Not super excited about it, but I still think this game ends up being something like a pretty embarrassing 10-point loss where the Titans really never in the game. I did not bet Monday yet, but I've seen some decent cases for the Saints. With our Bengals win, I guess I would love to see the Saints sneak out a home win, get that division race back in, so essentially I've already bet. I've already bet the Saints in this game by having some Cincinnati Bengals 3-1 to win their division.
Yeah. I don't have an opinion on Monday. I like the I liked the under at 45.5. I'm passing at 40. I'm sorry, 47.5. I like the under 47. I think is fair. It's close to fair. I'm like at 46.5. Bet online is 46.5 currently. I think everybody goes there tomorrow. Yeah, not really sure what to make of either of these teams right now. Yeah. Tonight's game, we're just cheering for Derrick Henry to have 250 yards and 5 touchdowns.
That would probably get me my 12. I would probably get my spread home if that happens.
I don't think I'm asking for much.
It's a run defense that did get Josh Jacobs the other week, so it can be gashed. We'll see what the game plan is. You got to think Kansas City's just going to try to stack it up. I mean, it's not like Derrick Henry's never ran into a stacked box, but that'll be the interesting chess match we watch tonight. As far as look-ahead lines, I have no interest in betting on the Thursday game right now.
Mm-mm.
Two teams I don't have a great read on, and a Falcons team that has their star running back at least, so I can see it, but the Falcons are a team probably not laying points on the road with. Doesn't matter who they're playing, so that's a stay-away game. That's a bet both teams live when they're down by 7 at various points in the game. Have some fun with it.
I like that.
It feels like both. That should be a prop, like both teams to be leading by double digits at various points in the game. Like I would bet props like that on a few.
Do you think Baker Mayfield is getting the green light?
That's the other part. Like that was hey, we're putting in Mayfield because PJ Walker's been so ineffective. So who starts probably matters.
Kyler Murray is on quiet quit watch. JetBlue Amigo. You know he is.
He looked sassy on the sideline. He was yelling at receivers. The Sunday morning, easy like Sunday morning.
Allianz Arena in Munich.
Bavaria, guys. Beautiful. The beautiful field of white and blue diamonds, the flag, you all know it. It's exciting. It's a really nice arena.
Beautiful part of the world.
Don't quite know what to make of this.
For their strict adherence to a specific way to make beer, to brew
yes. Beer. The German beer purity law of 1512, obviously, Drew's referring to. You cannot be putting other ingredients into beer, but no strong opinion on that. The market's starting to catch up.
What, the beer law or the game? Oh, the game.
No, I have a very strong opinion. Like the beer law should be adhered to worldwide.
Well, why aren't
I don't know. The last time the Germans tried to put rules into place that everybody should follow, things didn't go so well. So maybe we shouldn't be pushing this on people.
I think you need to.
Yeah, those rules were much worse.
Scrutinize the rule.
Yeah.
All right, Bayern Munich would beat both these teams. Let's not disrespect the Seahawks, man. The Seahawks are fucking legit.
So this is a true neutral.
Yeah.
Should the Seahawks be an underdog here? I would make them a 2-point favorite in this game. Yes, I'm not sure what's going on.
I mean,
we'll wait for a money line and bet it again.
The gift and the curse of betting the Seahawks to win the West was I don't feel like I have to bet them every week, even though my numbers say do it. Right? Like I should have bet them more on them today. I should have had a bigger stake on them today. But yeah, easily the worst travel spot of all time. Brett, You need to look at a little bit of global geography, my friend.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard
distance,
Great Circle Routes.
The distance traveled between Seattle to Munich over the North Pole versus Tampa to Munich over the Atlantic Ocean, within a couple hundred miles. Basically the same. Both teams are going to be in the air for almost the exact same amount of time. And realistically, no, not going to fly west, but they're going over the North Pole surely. Seattle to Munich.
It's Munich, not Tokyo.
Andy, quick trivia, geography trivia for you. Which city closer to the North Pole in terms of latitude, Seattle or Munich?
Oh, it's Seattle. It's not even close.
What? Why do you say?
Because, I've looked at that where I live in Minnesota compared to the cities where my family's from in Germany, and it's like, wow. No wonder your winters are easy. You're
incorrect.
What?
The Munich latitude, 48.1. Seattle, 47.6.
Oh.
Seattle is further south than Munich, Germany. Andy, what is your latitude, if you're so clued in?
I think I'm like 46.
So you're further south than Munich, Germany. You're 43. Oh, that's Rochester, New York. Sorry. Hang on a second.
I'm 44. This is great radio.
You're 44. You're way south of Munich, Germany.
Oh, Dan, I forgot yet the game has started. Dan says, "Are we going straight through to halftime?"
Europe in general is so much higher north than you realize, and Munich, Germany, even though it is at the very southern end of Germany as a country, the foothills of the Alps, it is still further north than Seattle, Washington. Amazing.
No rain shadow though, because all right. Let's look at a few lines before we cut this off.
Did Malik Willis get hit? Did he get killed? Did he throw an interception? What happened?
Or whatever.
R.I.P. Malik Willis. Why are we R.I.P.ing him?
Texans Giants. Super low total. Giants minus 6.5. Honestly, might bet the Giants there.
Coming off a bye, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why not?
That should close it to 7.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. I'm betting the Giants. Didn't think this was going to be something I was doing this year, but Houston
New Orleans on a short week at minus 2.5 versus Pittsburgh. Coming off a bye. Why is that line even up?
I don't know. I don't want either side of that. Lions, Bears favorite. That's how bad the Lions have fallen, even though they did just beat the Packers.
This total closes 51. What's your feel?
I was going to say, why aren't we at like 49.5?
Yeah, this is an overbet. I'm going to sit on this and see if the market...
I'm not scared of overs. I went 1 and 2 and over. I'm betting it. Over 48.
I think overs were something like 3 and 50 today.
Yeah, I bet I had one
even
winner.
Though there was really no weather. The only weather game was Chicago, right?
And we talked about Miami being an over team, but Cleveland defense, if that pass rush is going to ramp up like that and the time to prep for this, I'm not super excited about that. Miami, that 4 is probably about right. I'm leaving that one alone. Colts, Raiders are two teams that I won't be backing.
You blew right by Minnesota, Buffalo.
I'm looking at Chris. They don't have him up there.
They didn't. What are they waiting on? Oh, maybe the Josh Allen. Oh, maybe that.
Yeah, Josh Allen may miss some time. Is the word on the street right now?
Really?
Yeah, Cleve just tweeted out he might miss a couple weeks.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's something. The MVP race gets very interesting at that point. Colts, Raiders not betting. Cardinals, Rams. Oh, man. Should the Cardinals be... should the Rams be minus 3.5 versus anyone?
No.
Oh, my God.
But
the Cardinals
God help you
for it, Chris.
God.
All right.
What? This should be a pick.
This is disgusting, but +4 is horrible, right?
That's an awful number. What? Did Kyler Murray get hit by a bus on his way out of the
overreaction today? But no, I'd have this at 2.5. So I will take the 4. I'll bet the Cardinals. Boy, I'm just clipping out plays here. Cowboys, Green Bay. Dallas heads to Green Bay. God, that feels like such a stupid trap spot. The traps don't exist. But boy, if the Cowboys
Josh Allen is
game,
a UCL injury. Oh, Christ.
Boy, the AFC just got interesting, as Samuel L. said in Jurassic Park twice. People forget. Hold on to your butts. Niners, Chargers, 6.5. That's fair. 47 might be a bit high. 47 is a bit
possible high. UCL doesn't make me feel good.
What do you think of this total, Drew? Chargers, Niners, 47.
I mean,
I don't trust the Chargers defense.
Yeah,
keep them off the board.
I mean, I think that's bet the
Eagles, Commanders, 10.5 on Monday night.
Oh
44.5.
That price is 6.5. Oh my God, the market is just completely given up on this Chargers team. Holy smokes, 6.5. Oh my God.
I will mention LSU. Love that, going for it late, putting their season on ice, ending the Bama reign of terror. That was fun.
Wow. This has been a weird podcast because we started, Tampa Bay was losing. They ended up winning.
And also when we started, Tua didn't have a chance.
Tua didn't have a chance with MVP. Now he is probably underpriced. If you can find 10-1 on Tua, I think bet it.
Too much tuna. All right, let's call it. I'm gonna go watch this show. This show.
Oh my God, it was a UCL for. Oh shit! Wow.
Brian Kelly narrative. I don't know. I still don't know if Brian Kelly's any good.
I feel like just taking the rest of the season off at this point. These numbers don't make sense, man.
We have a college football show twice a week, Blogger Bowl, right?
Dude,
Same YouTube channel.
My numbers are not close on any of these late games at all. All 3 of them that we just covered. Rams insane at -4. Dallas should be closer to a touchdown. Chargers should be like 3.5. It's 6.5. That's unbelievable. Oof. Jesus Christ. Carson Wentz is not going to get to go back and play in Philly after all that hoopla in the preseason. God damn it. I can't believe I have to back some of these god awful teams. Oh my God. This is where we're at in the season. I have to bet the Cardinals and the Chargers if I want action this week. Oh my God.
Also, I bet the Cardinals took some action there.
That's a terrible number. It was a terrible number.
So it's still 3 + 100 at Chris. Dude, that's bettable.
If we wake up on Wednesday and the Rams are like, Matt Stafford's had UCL surgery. He had Tommy John yesterday. Surprise. I mean, that's where we're headed here. Like, the Rams are done. Dude, the NFL is a fucking mess this year. One of the 2 good teams and one of the 2 good quarterbacks maybe out now.
If you like to get sassy, Vikings +8.5 is up at points in the market. But yeah, let's call it a pod. Let's go watch the first half.
I gotta see the play where Josh Allen got hurt. I gotta go Twitter doctor now.
We gotta go to the Twitter doctors. So we're just honestly, they're right up there with the people who are doing online political commercials that I want to go away. I cannot wait. Go out. Hey, Tuesday, I'll say this a couple times. Go vote. Even if you don't understand anyone, go find one race on the ballot and go do a half hour of research on those candidates and vote for somebody. Just do something. But also, I just can't be happier that election day is finally here, so the ads stop.
If you can get 8.5 on the Vikings, I would bet that.
Yeah. I'm gonna dig around and see if they're up somewhere. I know
even if he plays, the idea that they're gonna put him on a little bit of a pitch count, I think, is likely. Oh, God damn it! Well, that kind of ruined my Sunday. Shit, man.
Yeah, the short throw after the fumble, next to last play.
Oh, okay, that was it. All right.
And PJ Walker with an absolute closer for the show. I'm not related to that dope Herschel. the political tie-in. Thanks for that.
I liked PJ Walker before. I love him now. That is a huge
that cracked me up. So
a huge sigh of relief that PJ Walker is not related.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys in like 5 minutes for halftime.
Hopefully PJ Walker wins in Atlanta this week and Herschel Walker loses.
I haven't even followed the polls in that one. The one that's just messing with my head is the fact that Dr. Oz is like Sean Penn.
That is also weird. That guy, he's like a dog murderer.